Hi, this is Father Louis Skirty with Friends of the Word. And following the interview I had a few weeks ago with Carlos Roland of the Father English Community Center, he put me in touch with the Director of Development for Catholic Charities, Diocese of Paterson, and we're here with him today. I'd like to introduce Chris Brancato. Chris, thank you very much for having us.
Father Lou, it's great to have you here. It's wonderful.
Thank you, thank you. And our idea is to promote Catholic charities and all the ministries. And Chris assured me that he can talk at least an hour straight, nonstop, about Catholic charity, at least. And these are some of the areas we're going to talk. We're not going to talk an hour straight. But as usual, what we'll do is have a series of interviews, around 15 minutes, so you stay with us. And all the emails that you're going to need will be put up at the end. And so important to know the ministry of Catholic charities in a world that we're living in. I mean, need, money, clothes, drugs, everything is there. And you guys are involved with all of it, seems.
Absolutely. And Father, when we go out into the community, when we have opportunities like this to speak to the faithful of our diocese and those from without our diocese, the most important notion that I like to touch upon is that we are here. We are here
Good.
as a resource for
Good.
our communities. If somebody has nowhere else to turn, we are here. And if we can't 100% of the time help a person directly, we 100% of the time know who can. We're so vast here within the Diocese of Paterson. We do so much work, which we'll talk about today.
Right.
But that's the most important thing that I like to tell everybody. Yes, our needs are immense. We help so many each and every day, but I just like to tell everybody, I like to tell our pastors, the different people from within our community, that we're there to help you. If you're ever in need, if you have a loved one who's in need, a friend, a parishioner, somebody that you're walking by on the street, Catholic Charities is there to help you.
My God, you should be the poster child. I swear, that's so great. And I have Santa Ana here with me today, my little dog, so she'll be jumping up and down periodically. Wow, that's so well put. Let me give you a case scenario.
Sure.
A person is in her apartment. She can't afford it any longer because COVID, no job, whatever it is. She's single, and she's being put out of her apartment because of lack of rent for 6 to 8 months. And I've heard this more than once. She appears here. What are you going to do with her?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of programs that do a lot of different things. And one of our programs is family and emergency support, okay? So we have case managers that are working boots on the ground in Paterson and in other places, and they're meeting with people like the person that you just mentioned, and they're talking with them. First of all, they're a listening ear and a shoulder to cry on or lean on,
good,
right?
good.
And then they're going to help them with the logistical and important parts of getting help. So is this person taking advantage of the benefits that are out there for them? Have they reached out to their county, to the government, to show that they're in need? So we're going to help them navigate the systems that are in existence.
Yeah.
We are going to help them get that short-term funding that they need. If they are a person who's not eligible for any of that, we're also there. We have had a couple of donors who have funded what we call our Unmet Needs Fund, which is for people who fall through the cracks.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or
Right.
people who need immediate support that are not eligible for any other funding. So we help those people as well who aren't eligible for anything. So the shorter answer to your question is, if somebody comes here, we're going to refer them to our case management unit. They're going to speak to that person, fill out all of the necessary paperwork, help them navigate the system, and assure that they're in line to get whatever they need.
That's great.
Yeah.
I want to, because we chatted about it before.
Yeah.
Your education and background, because
Sure.
you've been in this.
Yeah.
I don't know how old you are, but you've been in this
Yeah.
Or your life, your
Yeah.
professional life. How's
Yes,
that?
yes. My whole adult life, we'll even say.
Okay.
I'm 38, and I've been part of the Catholic Charities family in one way or another since I was 19 years old.
Oh
So,
my.
yeah, I've grown up with the organization. I've gone through my major life milestones
Always
with the
Diocese of Patterson?
organization. Always Catholic Charities, Diocese of Patterson
That's
here.
great.
Started while I was in college doing direct care for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Then through grad school, managed one of our group homes. Shortly after that, did development, event planning, and all of that for one of our ministries, our disabilities ministry. And then 4 years ago, came over to the Catholic Charities entity as the development director for all of Catholic Charities Diocese of Patterson. So it's been a wonderful journey.
Yeah.
Coming up on 20 years. It's hard to even imagine.
That's amazing.
Hard to even imagine that, but it's such a special place, you know, in today's world. I don't think you always want to call every place of business a family, but it truly is a family. You truly have so many people that have been here for such a big portion of their lives and have given this organization their heart and their spirit and everything. So,
That's great.
yeah, coming up on 20 years, and
God
I've
bless
been
you.
here for a long time through quite a journey.
And through those 20 years, Chris, and he'll fill you in with the details, got married and has 4 children.
Yeah.
And one was just born. How long ago?
Just born about 2 weeks ago.
Oh my! And he has time to be with us.
That's baby number 4, and the beautiful thing about working here is, you know, it helps you put life into perspective. It helps you put your children's life, give them perspective on some of the challenges that they are not faced with, and you know, gives them some experience with the world around them. So yeah, I came here as a kid, 19 years old. I was essentially a child, and have had the wonderful privilege and opportunity of bringing my children to this organization and having them learn it. You know, give food to our food pantry. Meet Carlos. You know, I think they met Carlos twice. They remember who he is.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
such a
yeah.
special Father English Center is such a special place.
Yes,
and,
yes.
they kind of get it, and having met our individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, it just gives them beautiful perspective on life. So yeah, I came to this organization as a child. Now I've had 4 babies while I've been here, and
notice
you know,
how he
they've
says
grown
it.
with
I've had them, you know, because he
Yeah.
talked to me yesterday on the phone. He said, "I just had a baby." I
Yeah.
said, how do you do that?
we my,
That's great. No, it's
yeah,
very
yeah.
ownership is
And
there.
you know, my wife is a local physician here in
Really?
in Clifton, and she has been there for our folks as well, for our people with special needs, and in so many other areas too. So when you do this kind of work, I mean, it's the same thing. I think when you're involved, you know, when different people are involved on the parish level, right? It's a family. Your whole family gets involved with it, and this ministry has given me the privilege of having everybody involved with what we do: wives, kids, parents, everybody. So
And
it's a
as the
great
kids
thing.
grow up, the positions.
They're there, yeah.
That's great.
They're in.
What as I was being interviewed yesterday
Yeah.
for a podcast, and the interviewer asked me an interesting question that is in my head, probably in my soul, but I never really voiced it until yesterday. Not never really, but didn't realize how clear it was. What was your influence? How did you get into school and the study of in the area of social work and specifically Catholic Charities? What was the inspiration?
You know, right now, Father Lou, I work in the field of development, and I don't think anybody ever goes to school for that, right? Probably 95% of the people in this don't. You know, probably 50 or 60% of people in the nonprofit world may not even think that they're doing that with their lives. But I started 19 years old, going for a degree in clinical and counseling psychology. And I came to Catholic Charities through school. Montclair State had an internship program, and the position that was open was a residential counselor position. Now, at the time, I thought that was doing some sit-down counseling with people, and as it turns out, it was a direct care position. So, driving.
You lived there.
I worked at a program, a group home, Murray House, which is in Clifton, where 6 adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities live.
Okay.
So at 19, started working there, and it was direct care, driving people to and from appointments, helping them with daily life tasks, cooking, cleaning, hygiene, all of those things. So as a 19-year-old guy, got involved with that, and then, like I said, just grew with the organization, ended up directing one of our group homes, and the rest is history. The leadership of the organization, Bishop Saratelli as well, and Bishop Sweeney now have also always done just a great job of managing it and making it a place that you want to work, in addition to it being so mission-centric. And the rest is history. So came here 19, thought that it was going to be direct clinical work. It wasn't. I enjoyed it. Kind of as a kid, always wanted to help people, whatever that meant.
Okay. Anybody in your family in that realm?
Yeah, Dad was a teacher for many years. He's now retired, and my grandmother, who's long deceased on his side, was like a volunteer at the local Home of the Blind down in Jersey City.
St. Joe's.
Right.
Oh, of course,
exactly.
of
So
course.
that would be the connection there. I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
service was in the family.
Service was in the family. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And that's where we are today. So it's just a journey. You look back, it's hard to think it's been so long, 19 years, but it's been a great it's been a great journey.
But the roots go deep. So they're in your mother, grandmother, dad. Yeah, it's there.
Absolutely. And it's an organization, obviously, so mission centric that you have many people who come here. They stay for a long time. Our CEO has been here for 30 years.
Wow. And who is that?
That's Scott Milliken.
Right.
He was appointed our CEO 4 years ago for Catholic Charities, maybe going on 5 years now.
Okay.
And, our board members, they're all lifetime volunteers and supporters of the organization. So you get involved. The mission is so strong, and the people are so wonderful. A lot of people stay for their lives.
Yeah, certain not only ministries, certain agencies, secular as well as church.
Yeah.
I know it was a truth at William Patterson, where I was so many years. The students graduated, came back for graduate school, came back for positions, and are in major positions. I mean, but it shows what you used before, the terminology, the family orientation, the welcoming, and and of course we all go through hard times,
absolutely,
scholastically as well as fiscally, but a good strong base always attracts people back.
And for a nonprofit like us, that continuity is so important. You met with Carlos a few weeks ago. He's been there such a long time.
The last time I interviewed Carlos before last week was 10 years ago when I was at William Patterson, and he hasn't changed. I swear, his enthusiasm hasn't changed, and his dedication is over the top.
I think having those daily challenges, that sometimes as trying as they can be, they keep you going, they keep you motivated.
Right.
And Carlos has dealt with those kind of challenges, namely just the expanding need. I'm sure that he spoke to you a few weeks ago all about it, but his service during COVID has just increased so much. The pantry's helping over 20,000 people a month. That number has quadrupled since before COVID. So I think those challenges, in addition to just being such a wonderful person, has kept him motivated and involved for such a long time.
Okay, this section so far has been introductory.
Sure.
So I want to keep it that way before we go into specifics.
Absolutely.
And one of the things, I'm staring at a picture on the wall of Bishop Sweeney. One thing I want to get from you, and this is good for the audience to know.
Sure.
He's the chief shepherd of the diocese. He's CEO, I mean, not technically, but I guess maybe technically he is too. What's his role here, and how has he support it or not? You.
Yeah, Bishop has been just a tremendous supporter of Catholic Charities, a fighter for the poor and those most in need. You see it. He visited our Father English Center a few weeks ago, Carlos and everybody, and he just has a special way of connecting to everybody. So what struck me is everybody that he met, whether they were a staff, a volunteer, or a service recipient, someone there filling their bag of food, he went up to them, looked into their eye, shook their hand, and asked them their name, right? And just doing, it seems like a small action, right?
Oh, it's so
but
human.
For exactly, and for a bishop to connect like that to everybody,
Yeah.
so important. But yes, he is. We have a CEO at Catholic Charities who reports to our board, and then the board essentially reports to the bishop. So bishop is involved on the board level, so the management of our organization. We meet, our board and our committee are wonderful, dedicated. They meet very regularly. We have bi-monthly board meetings and then just about weekly committee meetings to make sure that the organization is flowing well. Right. And the bishop kind of sits within all of that, atop all of that. So he's involved on that level, and then there for whenever we need him, dedications of new programs or many annual events that we have. Again, just coming out to visit, meet with a service recipient, meet with a staff member. He has been there. He has been present, and that means
That's great.
so much to us. And Bishop Saratelli, prior to him, was there as well.
And Bishop Sweeney is so, I don't want to say close
Yeah.
to the earth. He's so, I don't want to say ordinary. He's a man of the people. He really is. That's
Correct.
like a cute term, but we interviewed him a few months ago, and he's from Brooklyn.
Yes.
He knows the streets. He knows people, and he really has a very strong dedication to people.
Very relatable, and again, and I mean that in the most praising way possible, but approachable and just loving, right? So he is there. He is more than present, involved, active, and listening and learning. Our organization is so very vast, and he is there to listen to our staff, to our board, to those most in need, and learn and grow with us. So he's a shepherd, a leader, but part of the family. Obviously, we're part of the diocesan family, but he's part of the fabric of our organization.
And I'll be specific, the Good Shepherd.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, thank you. This is a great intro, and you're going to tune in for the subsequent interviews. We thank you for being here and joining Chris and I, talking about the ministry of Catholic Charities, Diocese of Paterson, and his role. Now, each segment is going to deal with different areas, like services to recovery, service for homelessness, and Meals on Wheels, and persons with disabilities. So we'll keep you attuned, and we'll label each segment that way. And they'll come out periodically, weekly if we hope. And we thank you for joining us, and we want to hear from you. Not only do I want to hear from you, but Catholic Charities wants to hear from you. So we'll put all their information on, and any way you could support Catholic Charities or use their needs, knock your socks off, okay? This has been Father Lou and Chris, thanking you for joining us, and let me hear from you, fatherlouskirty@hotmail.com. God bless you.